Welcome back, New Jersey football fans, to the South Jersey Football Frenzy Show. Mark Trible here, joined by Coach Tim McAneney and Rod Self tonight. As we're going to look at all the sectional final games in South and Central Jersey. One of the best weekends of the year always. A lot of good memories on sectional finals, even back before we had state championships.
Maybe the best.
Maybe the best
weekend.
Mac.
Yeah.
Maybe the best.
No doubt.
We're glad you made it, Mac. It's good to see you. I know you. Go ahead and give a quick shout out here and explain why I'm letting you wear this on the air, even if basketball season has started.
Yes. Today was the official signing day.
Yep.
So Tommy, my son, officially signed with Duke. Committed last year. So lacrosse player. Congrats to all the other guys who signed today. I know we spoke during the season. Cole Denick, he's a Rutgers guy. We have a Rutgers guy too at Shawnee. Tyler Rockowitz. Also had some 5 Shawnee kids. St. Leo's, Jack Creaney, Brett Lumberg, also a Duke kid. Tyler Rockowitz, Rutgers, my guy going to Duke, and Alex Skabilia going to Immaculata. So big day for Shawnee lacrosse and kids. A lot of sports throughout the baseball. It's not, I don't think it's football today. I think football is December, then January, February. But today's the non-football, non-basketball, baseball, lacrosse, soccer, etc. So big day, big fun. So I'm here. I didn't Herb Street it.
Not quite.
So, but I got here on time. We're good.
Congratulations to all
Thank
who
you.
signed national letters of intent. And now it's time to talk some football, Mac.
Absolutely,
so, what's your favorite memory, sectional final?
This is growing up in South Jersey, as we, a lot of us have, and I have, and this was, the weekend after Thanksgiving. This was the last game of the season. You knew, you were going home happy as heck, or crying in your Cheerios, as they say. So, I've been a part of a lot of really cool sectional finals as a son, as a coach. Some win, some lose. First sectional final, first final I was at Eustis. We lost to St. Joe's Hamilton. I was in one as an assistant coach. I was in another one at Eustis. I was in another one as an assistant coach at Holy Cross. We won one at Holy Cross at Rutgers. We won another one at Rutgers when I was at Cross. We lost when I was at Lenape to Timber Creek. We won one when I was at Lenape.
Yeah.
So the teams I've coached, myself, my staff, we've been on both sides of that emotion. And as a son, I've been there when Brick Township beat Pennsauken High 8-6, when they beat, Toms River North 15-14. I've also been there when Pennsauken would beat the Cherokees and Pembertons and, state titles and sectional titles. So, seen a lot of good football. This is that weekend, right? This is that weekend you start collecting some hardware.
Yeah.
Might be a different color. I think it's blue front, not gold, but it's still, you start collecting your South Jersey and Central Jersey hardware. This is that next step. So it's, I used to tell our kids, this is the time of year, look around the campus. Yeah. Nobody's practicing.
Right.
In August, kids are shrugging their shoulders and like they're kids, they're complaining. But there's that badge of honor when you're the only guys out on that field.
Yeah.
And
few the proud, right?
Correct. And it's cold. And and practice is I think I've said this before in the show. These practices are so much fun. Kids are working hard. They're typically not that long. If you're a 2.5 hour guy on the field, you probably cut it down to 2. As we say, we used to say, if it ain't done now, it ain't getting done.
Right.
It's just about keeping sharp. You're putting in a couple things. You're not putting in too much. You're doing the things that you got there to do it, right? Like, why are you here? How'd you get here? And you just try to hone in on those things, and then you try to squeeze those extra drops out of hitting home. That this is it, man. This is the last. These playoff games are it. We're not win and move on, lose and done.
What did you say? If it ain't done, it ain't getting done. The phrase back home we said is the hay is in the barn.
There you go.
I want to first give a shout out here before we talk about last week's game of the week to the West Jersey Football Coaches Association, established to promote, improve, and unite football in South Jersey. They've done just that. In less than 4 years, they created the Battle at the Beach. They've raised over $100,000, given to a lot of great causes nearby. You got the National Football Foundation, Touchdown Club of Southern New Jersey. We had our big banquet on Monday night for scholar athletes. Gave out a couple scholarships, one to Matt Duffy of Shawnee, one to Dominic Ruffalo of Haddonfield. So congratulations to those young men.
Yep.
And thank you to the West Jersey Football Coaches Association for your donorship and your sponsorship of this show. Also want to shout out Dave O'Sullivan, the guy who has sjglorydays.com, where you can find my columns every week at these big games. And also he has the Facebook platform of which you're watching this if you're watching it live there. Got a couple comments. I know we have Chris Gilbert was in the chat. My Facebook's loading up now, but got Kamal, Colin, and Gary all in the YouTube commenting. Thank you. We love your comments. Feel free to share the show out. A lot of people are going to want to know what's going on this weekend in one of the biggest weekends we have. Mac, let's take a look back first, though, to last weekend, the game of the week. I had Washington Township at Rancocas Valley. It was a rematch. It's a game that a lot of us had circled before the season started. RV comes in, and things hadn't been exactly as planned for them. We've talked at length about the loss of Savion Adams to injury. Back in at quarterback, things starting to come along. 2 big wins going into the playoffs. Have to start out at Washington Township, defending sectional champ. This was in Central Jersey, Group 5. And Township, I mean, I'm going to go blow by blow here, Mac. 24 points off turnovers in the first half. They're up 24-0.
Yep.
One of the first plays of the second half, they scoop up a fumble. They put that in the board. Quick after that, it's 31-0. And really anything after, I mean, the game was over right there. Anything after that, but I want to talk about a couple things. First off, Andrew Osborne's father comes up and talks to me introduced himself before the game. Says, watch the show every week. Love it. Thanks so much. And great. Good to meet him and talked a little bit about the good old days and what was going on this year. Well, you know, his son walks away with the hat, Mac, because he had a game.
And not because you met Dad either.
No, not because I met his dad.
Right.
But, I mean.
Serendipitous, though.
He blocks the field goal.
I saw it.
That Ethan Binder runs in 67 yards to make it 7-0.
Yep.
He has a forced fumble, a fumble recovery, a tackle for loss or sack, whichever one it was. He rushes 8 times for 82 yards and a touchdown. This is a kid who, when you have a team full of great players, which Washington Township does, you know, each game I've covered of theirs, it seems like over the last couple of years, a different kid's got in the hat. You got Jalen Robinson at linebacker and running back. You got Colin Beeler at running back, Colaquino at quarterback. You got a star in Paris Pratt on the outside. You got Gabe Palaganis up front, D tackle. You have a great offensive line. And Osborne's a guy who, Jair Moore had the big touchdown against Kingsway. Andrew Osborne, a guy who kind of falls under the radar because of how talented their team is. But you put him on a team that has one other very good player, and we're talking about Andrew. We're reading his stats every week. This kid's rushing for 160 yards. He's doing it all. He's got 12.5 sacks, whatever. Great season for him. Great game for him. And just really, I thought that, you know, Washington Township, they put up the points. We said over, under. I think you hit the number right on. You hit 70 is exactly what the number was. There were a lot of late scores to add that up. I think they hit the over for you.
Look, when I watched it, I watched it on one of the YouTube, or I had it somewhere. You know, when in those situations, RV goes down. I don't want to say they're controlling the game, but you're thinking to yourself, this is going to be a good game. RV gets down the field, they're moving the ball, and boom, the block field goal.
Yeah.
You know, you talk about how things can flip scripts and the mindset of the high school football player, and then another turnover. At one point, Township's offense, I don't think, had been on the field, and the score was 14 or maybe 20-0. I mean, you're like, RV has to be like, what just happened?
Yeah.
You know, and they did fight back. To your point, this game was over probably at 31. But back to Osborne, in these situations, we've talked about it. These good teams, when you're a 10-0, 11-0 Group 5 football team, there is no right fielder, right? Like 9-year-old right fielder. Everybody is a pretty good football player on that team. Every guy contributes. Every guy's doing their job. You know, those teams have those quote-unquote superstars, the household names. People typically know, You go back to us, back in 17 and 16, people knew JoJo was scoring touchdowns, right? People knew Matty LaJoy was our quarterback. People typically know, Tobolski and Zach Cole and Michael Galita. But how good was Shane Scott, right? He's our will linebacker. We don't win a state title without Shane Scott, right? And he's not in the box score every day because he wasn't scoring touchdowns, but he was making 8 tackles a game, getting to his drop in his zone, coming off the edge, doing all the things. So those type of kids, the Osbornes of the world, you need that glue all over the field, all over the team.
Yeah, Mac, and I thought also, when you look at exactly how Township handled themselves in this game, it really was. They came out, they were physical. Almost overly physical.
No such thing.
Well, it cost them a little bit on the penalty side of things, but it's a senior team that knows how to toe that line, and I think they sent a message early on. I talked to Coach Schatzman after the game. I said, some of those penalties might not have been penalties 20 years ago, but they're penalties today, right?
But you talk to any coach, they always say, I'd rather have to say whoa than go.
Yeah.
You can pull back your reins. Now, nobody wants any late hits or cheap hits or somebody getting hurt or defenseless receiver, et cetera, et cetera. But when you're in a playoff championship environment and game, you need a defense that is getting after it, right?
And they were. They set the tone.
No doubt.
I would say, under the parameters of all stats are not equal, you go through the end of the game, RV outgained them by 52, wasn't indicative, a lot of late yards.
Late yards and short fields. And
RV didn't punt, but they turned the ball over 5 or 6 times. So the defense for Washington Township set the tone. The offense did what they have done all year. They became the highest scoring offense in Washington Township history. Again, another 40-some point game for the Minutemen. Really just doing what they've done all year. I think other than the really close game against Kingsway, who's in a sectional final all their own. We'll get to talk about that. Just a great game, great team. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens this weekend, as anybody is. But for Washington Township, I would say the only thing you can take out of that game as a teaching point is, guys, let's watch the penalties. 11 times for 120 yards. Can't have that moving forward.
Can't have the free.
Everything else was good. I will give a shout out here, too. Darian Joyner, receiver, had a 21-yard touchdown catch in the first half. Was injured, scary situation. Ambulance comes out, takes him off. All indications from Coach Schatzman is Darian's is more precautionary than anything. He's been cleared to resume practicing, and we were thinking about Darian, so really happy for him. Happy for Washington Township. They're going to host Old Bridge in the Central Jersey Group 5 final. We're going to preview that game. We're going to preview all the sectional finals. We're even going to come back and take a look at 2 of our non-public B quarterfinals right after this commercial break for the South Jersey Football Frenzy Show. The West Jersey Football Coaches Association was established to promote, improve, and unite football in South Jersey. In less than 4 years, the association created the Battle at the Beach and has dedicated itself to helping others. The association has donated close to $100,000 to date to provide scholarships through the National Football Foundation and the Touchdown Club of Southern New Jersey. The group has also donated to the charity Philly Faces, which helps those in need of facial reconstruction surgery. Thank you to the West Jersey Football Coaches Association for their sponsorship of the South Jersey Football Frenzy Show. The South Jersey Football Frenzy Show is also sponsored by Capstone Medical Services, a dedicated team of experienced healthcare professionals with a strong presence at the youth, middle school, high school, collegiate, and post-collegiate levels. They specialize in athletic training services and sports medicine for youth, high school, collegiate, and adult sports, event EMT and paramedic coverage for events and gatherings of all types and sizes, ensuring everyone's safety, injury prevention and workplace injury programs for commercial and industrial organizations, American Red Cross training, ideal for coaches, youth group leaders, church organizations, businesses of all sizes, and school districts. At Capstone, they are committed to delivering exceptional medical services that exceed expectations, No team will work harder or more passionately for you or your athletes. They proudly serve athletes of all ages, schools, businesses, and event organizers, ensuring the health and safety of every individual in every setting. Whether on the field, at work, or during special events, Capstone's here to protect, support, and serve because your safety is our top priority. To learn how Capstone Medical Services can support your school, organization, or event, call 855-EVENT-CMS or visit capstonemedicalservices.com. The South Jersey Football Frenzy Show is also sponsored by SRA Home Products. South Jersey, let me tell you about my friends over at SRA Home Products. SRA has been building sunrooms, pergolas, and patio covers for over 25 years. They've built more than 9,000 projects in the Delaware Valley alone. And I've had the opportunity to be around Mike Fody, the owner, and I have nothing but the best things to say about Mike and his crew. SRA is a gold accredited member of the Better Business Bureau under the elite provider status with Home Advisor, and they've racked up a number of Best of South Jersey awards in the past. They also contribute to multiple sport associations and are huge supporters of Williamstown football. Find them online at srahomeproducts.com.
Enthusiastic about football? Become a part of the NJFOA South Football Association and team up with us to officiate high school football. Join us on the field. Our cadet class kicks off in March. Register on our website or by scanning the QR code in this ad. Put the stripes on and join us on the gridiron today.
Welcome back, New Jersey football fans, to the South Jersey Football Frenzy Show. First, we're going to talk about two non-public B quarterfinals, and I will say that last week we previewed our non-public A matchup of St. Augustine and St. Peter's Prep. Be sure to go back and look at last week's episode or listen to last week's episode. That game's at 7 p.m. We said last week it was at Keene University. I don't believe that's the case. I believe that game's got changed to Cave and Point, where St. Peter's usually plays. That is 7 p.m. on Friday night. Non-public B, you got Holy Spirit at 6-3, the 5 seed. They beat St. Mary's last week 48-8. Amir Hicks, 12 carries, 104 yards, 2 touchdowns. Christian Searles, 5 carries, 57 yards, 3 touchdowns. Taylor Cartwright, 1 receiving touchdown. They're going to play at Donovan Catholic, who's 8-3. This is Friday at 6:30 p.m. Donovan Catholic beat Notre Dame 48-21. Caden Davis, 11 for 21, 138 yards, 2 touchdowns, a rushing touchdown. Ethan Nicholas, 15 carries, 133 yards, 3 touchdowns. And the Donovan Catholic defense, 5 sacks. Interesting subplot here. I believe Mr. Jarena of Holy Spirit, one of their best players and one of the top players in South Jersey. I believe he started his career in high school as a freshman at Donovan Catholic. So that's an interesting subplot as the Spartans go down there, and we'll see. That's the 5 and the 4 in that bracket. The 6 seed, Paul the 6 at 5-4, heads to Red Bank Catholic, the 3 seed, who's 10-1. This is Friday at 7 p.m. Paul the 6 beat 11 seed St. Joe's Hamilton 42-19. Dalton Felanis, 22 of 28, 218 yards, 2 touchdowns. Tyree Roan, 7 catches, 94 yards, and a touchdown. Paul the 6 defense, though, 3 knots, 2 pick sixes, and a fumble return touchdown in a pretty much a walk-away win against St. Joe's. Red Bank Catholic beat Hudson Catholic 41-0. Ramir Rivera, 7 of 8, 134, 2 touchdowns. Gabe Kemp, 7 carries, 7 yards, 2 touchdowns, just short yardage. And the defense for them also, 2 knots, a pick six, and a block punt in the end zone. The haves and have-nots in some of these non-pub first-round games are very evident. But I want to give a shout-out to Ron Dorsey at St. Joe Hamilton. Saw him the other night at the banquet. And, here's a guy who handled, he's stepping away as the head coach of St. Joe Hamilton. Sal Marquez will be the head coach next year. That's announced during the season. I mean, he just handled the season with a lot of class and grace. So I want to give a shout-out to our guy, Ron Dorsey. Let's talk, and everybody, T-Bettle's in here, Shadid's in here, Walter, Jermaine, everybody, keep it going. Mom, thanks for watching, Mom. Let's talk Central Jersey Group 1, shall we?
Hi, Mrs. Tribb.
Yeah, hi,
How you
Mr.
doing? We'll talk Central Jersey.
Central Jersey Group 1 final. The 2 seed, the Shore Regional Blue Devils, at the 1 seed, Burlington City Blue Devils. It's going to be a devilish matchup. Shore's 8-2. Burlington
Devil.
City's 10-1. Blue Devil here.
Man, well, you got trifecta.
Friday at 6 p.m. At Wilbur Watts Intermediate School. Shore beat Point Pleasant Beach last week 30-6. Cole Torres, 19 carries, 147 yards, 2 touchdowns. Mike Marotta and Logan Clark each ran for a touchdown for Shore. They're usually in this type of situation, right? They're a playoff team year in, year out. Burlington City beat Manville 52-21 in the semifinals. Mason Shanzy, 5 of 7, 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. He ran for 1. Dante Davis, a guy we've talked about his really big stats this year. 14 carries, 199 yards, a touchdown. He caught a touchdown, and Malachi Sadler ran a kickback for 6. Big game for Burlington City, Mac. Central Jersey Group 1 final. What do you think?
Well, we got 3. We're going to talk about Central and South. We got 3 out of the 4 teams are South Jersey teams. I mean, it looks like City is the team to beat, right, on that side. And then, looking at a forward clash against Glassboro. I'm not a prognosticator, but I think Shore might be a little bit outmatched in this one. But City's at home. They continue to have a great season, being 10-1 right now. Fun time for them, right? And, again, sectional final, great time. And just not making sure, if you can't be looking ahead, right? You want to be making sure you're taking care of Shore, taking care of business at home to get a chance to play for that South Jersey semifinal, de facto South Jersey title, whatever you want to call it. Again, dominant performance on the front side of that, in the sectional semifinal for sure. South won, right? Shalleck's going to have to try to pull something out of their hat.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
Glassboro, I don't. It'll have to be a special hat to beat that crowd.
Let's talk first about the Cougars, who had a weird situation last week playing Paulsboro. Paulsboro down 16 players due to suspension. I believe it was 7 starters.
Correct.
They beat Paulsboro 35-28. They lost them earlier in the season, 6-0. Kenneth Barty, 8 for 16, 90 yards, 2 touchdowns. He ran for 2 scores, and Aiden Jenkins caught 2 touchdowns. Big win for Shalleck. They played Glassboro earlier in the season. It was a Glassboro win. Glassboro hasn't lost. It was 35-7. This was in mid-October. It was 14-7 after that first quarter. Jack O'Connell threw for 230 and 3 scores, and the Dogs recovered 2 fumbles and had a pick. Tasheen Butler in that game had 17 tackles. So I'm guessing wherever the game plan starts, Tasheen Butler is we're going to say, this guy right here, this dog is the one who was eating all the Alpo.
Block that guy.
Yeah, block that guy. He's an incredible player. And they got a whole team full of incredible players. Last week against Salem, they beat them 35-0. O'Connell, 13 of 20, 160 yards and a touchdown. Amari Sabb, 11 carries, 127 yards, 2 touchdowns. Makai Parker, 5 catches for 100 yards and a touchdown and a pick 6. Glassboro, I think last week we said they had 7 or 8 knots this year. Add another one after last week.
Yep.
They've given up, I think, 4 or 5 touchdowns. So they've outscored all of their opponents just on the defensive side of the ball. They are, look, there's no bones about it. Are people out there interested in this Burlington City-Glassboro matchup? I think people are probably hoping to see that.
Correct.
The games have to be played. We'll see what happens. But, as soon as the game at MetLife was over last year, we knew Glassboro was the prohibitive favorite to win the state championship this year. Mm-hmm. And here they are. Anything can happen on any given day. But
couple games away, but again, because they're so dominant on defense. Yeah. I mean, like, as we talk about, I'm the old school, defense travels, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we watched the other night, whether the Eagles, some people didn't like the game. I thought it was. I
know you thought it was great. It's just like 10-7, like your championship.
I thought it was very well played. But in these, when you have a defense like Glassboro has, and you got a guy like Butler, Tasheen Butler, and then on the back end, Butler's causing a lot of those plays that the Sabs make. I mean, it's crazy because quarterbacks are in duress. What do? Pick your poison. And Glassboro's so good on defense, and then that just they got so many studs on offense too.
And Jermaine says in here they need 2 more shutouts for state record for shutouts, I guess, in a season because they play more games, I guess. But it could happen. Who knows? I think when you look at Burlington City, their only loss is against Burlington Township. So I would say Burlington Township and is probably the best opponent either of these teams faced.
Correct.
I know Haddonfield is very good as well. Glassboro played them in the beginning of the season. But, I agree with what Chris says here, where if Glassboro and Burlington City play, I think whoever comes out in the South or Central will be kind of not an unofficial championship. I would... Again, every game has to be played, but I think those teams would be heavily favored. And I agree with what our guy Steve says in the chat here. We always need more officials. So if you're unhappy with the officials, week in, week out,
go be an official.
Yeah, we can. If you're saying it could get better, then you know what, be a part of the solution, not the problem. Scan that QR code in the commercials. They want people to sign up. They'll help you out however they can.
Somebody complain about the refs in the chat?
Well, they complain about them everywhere. Last week at the game, there was a gentleman who yelled to me, "Hey, Triv, make sure you write about the refs." And I said, I do that every week, don't I? And he says, "I know you can't write about the refs."
Look, everyone, I don't want.
The refs were great.
Yeah, let's not go off the tangent, but I'm going to say one thing. I mean, every once in a while, somebody makes a bad call on every level, college, NFL. And high school refs aren't college and NFL refs. Some do college and high school. Some do both. And I think as you go through the playoffs, you will get the better crews get assigned the better games. And this is what you'll see.
Well, I don't think we'll see familiar folks this week.
No, you'll see.
Because I think they start
no doubt. Yeah.
Shape them, bring North Jersey.
Yeah, but they're going to bring
down.
the good ones from the north down to the south and the good ones from we send our goods up there and we flip them up. It's like bowl games, right? We got an SEC crew doing the Big Ten game. It is what it is. They do the Rose Bowl, the SEC crew or something.
Well, I can't stress it more. I would say, look, the Officials Association does a great job, and again, they need willing participants. So please sign up. We have a lot of games on Thursday nights, Saturdays to make sure we have refs. I mean, there's a shortage. We need more. There's a lot of guys who know the game. There's a lot of guys in here who know the game. And I would say reach out to Walter, reach out to Steve. Again, scan that QR code in the commercial and, be a part of the solution. Central Jersey Group 2 final.
Rod's uncomfortably silent.
Rod's not doing anything on Friday nights. He can stand to get out there.
Too cold for me.
Too cold for Rod. He'll just work the first half of the season.
We're the double puffer, the tuck in with the they got it all going on.
Central Jersey Group 2 final. You got Wall out of the Shore Conference, the 2 seed at 8-2. At the top seed, Camden, 8-2. Friday at 6 p.m. at Farnham Park. Wall beat Rumson Fairhaven 17-13. They're the defending state champ. No more, right? Brian McKenna, 9 for 13, 56 yards and a touchdown. But they carried 22 times with Dylan Cohen for 91 yards and a touchdown. Heath Reinhardt with a 32-yard field goal. Camden rolled over Manasquan 46-6. Manasquan was the 4 seed. Ahmad Jones, another big game for him. You look 22 of 29, 313, 5 touchdowns. Ibn Muhammad caught 2 touchdowns. Azir Pagan, Wasi Muhammad, and Scott Freeman each caught a touchdown. Camden High is seeking its 3rd sectional title in the past 4 years. They fell a little bit short last year. I know that's left a sour taste in many mouths over by Farnham Park. And they come in as the favorite in this one. This is a South Jersey or West Jersey versus Shore Conference game. And when you look at last week, I do want to point this out. Last week, Camden also played an out-of-area team. We had 5 games with South Jersey Publics versus out-of-area teams.
They did pretty good.
They did pretty well, Mac. And
there you go, pretty well.
I know I'm not exactly the math guy, but the South Jersey went 5-0. Total score 196-41. That's an average of 39.2 to 8.2. The winners were Atlantic City 42-0. Burlington City, I just said how much they won by. It was a lot. Kingsway 28-7. They were the one road team to win at Southern. Camden rolled, and Seneca also rolled. So, this is a situation where the more the merrier. Like Max said in the beginning, I don't know if you caught it, but South Jersey has a shot at 9 sectional titles out of these 10 in South and Central, so we'll see what happens. There's only one that is all non-South Jersey teams, and that is Central Jersey Group 4. It's South Jersey Group 2, Mac. This is a game. First we have to give a shout-out here to Delran. Delran is 10-1. They went on the road last week in a game that was probably one of the better playoffs games we saw. They beat West Deptford 28-20. Vinny Sacca, great game. 12 of 19, 153 and a touchdown. He carried 20 times for 165 and 2 scores. Justin Mary Jr., 8 receptions, 92 yards and a touchdown. And Nick Peen ran for a touchdown. This is the first sectional appearance for Delran in 33 years. They raced a 20-7 deficit, and they outscored the Eagles 21-0 in the second half to punch their ticket. They carried 40 times for 230 yards. Now, on the other side of things, Haddonfield beats Lower Cape May 28-13. Talk about a rushing performance. How about Brody Leonard? 35 carries, 234 and 2 touchdowns. He also caught 2 passes for 39 yards and another touchdown. Down 7-0 early, Haddonfield churns it out on the ground. They score the next 21 points. And Mike Keenan, one of the show's favorite players in South Jersey, capped the win with a 6-yard touchdown run in the 4th. On defense, you got Cormac Flanagan, the Australian, 10 tackles. Logan Ray with 9. Number 54 up front is great for Haddonfield. And 3 picks for the Haddons. That Mike Miller-led defense, that coach defense from Mr. Miller, always great. Should be a good one in Group 2, Mac. Haddonfield, Delran.
Yeah, I give Coach Delano and staff a ton of credit, and as we always do. They know how to win at this time of the year. It doesn't have to always be the fanciest. Frank, former quarterback himself, throws it when he needs to, runs it when he doesn't care. That much makes him such a good coach. Meaning he doesn't care how they win, just win. And look at the performance, giving the ball to Brody Leonard, 35. You got a guy who has 234 yards on 35 carries. You know what you do? You keep giving him the ball.
Keep giving him the ball.
Keep giving him the ball, right? Every play, it's. I heard, what did Brady say the other day? It's Canadian football, right? You're first, second, and then first down. You don't even get the third down.
I have a lot of respect for Brody Leonard's game because to see him through the season, he is getting stronger and stronger and stronger. Keenan's still a big play threat every time he touches the ball out of the backfield or in the pass game. Really a versatile player. Frank does a great job getting them involved where they need to be. LaFacas does a good job delivering it. I like McKeever at tight end as well. I like their offense. Their defense is always going to be sound and always going to be good. Like you said, Flanagan and Ray up front, really good players.
Flanagan, Ray, McKeever, Keenan. It sounds like an Irish rugby team that's not that's going to rip your head off.
It does.
Right?
It really does. And Haddonfield has, it's great to see. Delran's had some very good teams the last few years, whether it was under Coach Lucas or now under Coach Huco. But to get back to a sectional final, I know they went between Group 3 and Group 2. A couple years they had great teams that kind of just ran into some very good teams. So shout out to them. It's good to see them in a sectional final. You got some Burlington County, some Camden County, some Delran, Haddonfield. Would be a good game. And
to Delran's credit, getting over that hump of beating West Deptford too. I know West Deptford had some blips and now back. But Coach Emmel's been there, right? He's been in that spot, and to come back in a game where they were down and to overcome that and not being in a sectional final since what, 92? Probably since Vinny's.
Yeah.
Since the Sacca won, was out. We're talking, 33 years is a long time without getting to a sectional final. So that big stuff going on at Delran. Have to travel Haddonfield. Always a tough place to play. Great environment, great stadium. Pay your $6 if
If you have to pay.
If you have to pay. I mean, there's some good games we're going to talk about, but that's another one. If you got to pay, go pay it.
7 p.m. Friday night. Now we have our knots of the week, I believe. Rod, do we have a new graphic for that? I think it looks pretty. I think it looks pretty crisp. Let's get to those. Location, location, location. There's no better location than the football field, but for all your other real estate needs, call Ashley Franchini. Do not make a mistake when you're looking for real estate, folks. Reach out to Ashley at 609-233-6116 or at FranchiniRealEstate.com. All right, let's go to our knots of the week. Paul to 6, more like Paul pick 6. First, you got Jake Andrew Levitch, 45 yards, jumps the out, takes it all the way to the house. Next, Nick Reed, favorite of the program, excellent player. Oh, jumps another route, 77 yards. He's running like people are chasing him. Believe us, there are people chasing him, just can't see him. Except right there, he makes somebody miss.
Well done.
And last but not least, Brendan Sandon sees the ball, gets the ball,
Scores
and
the ball.
knows what to do with the ball. Oh, flipped up by a teammate, it looks like possibly. Either way, it's a touchdown. He can't believe, look at this. He's like, look at me, I got this, 34. And then, of course, Andrew Osborne blocking the field goal against RV. Ethan Binder picking it up somewhere down there. Whoever this poor bald soul who recorded this, I believe it may have been myself. That was a big one.
Look at that.
Look at that. Non-offensive touchdowns of the week. Some good ones.
Well, look, they're game changers, and I would say, if and buts, candies and nuts. You go to that RV game. If you could take those funky plays out of it, RV's in that game. I mean, so, if there's clips. We used to tell our kids there's going to be 6 to 8 plays that are made in this game that are going to make a difference. Mm-hmm. The problem is in football, you don't know which 6 or 8 games they are, 6 or 8 plays they are. But there's going to be 6 or 8 plays that when you go back and rewatch and go, there's one, there's the other one, there's the other one, there's the other one. You better be on the good side of 5 or 6 of those 8.
And to that point, Mac, in big games where teams are somewhat level or even if they aren't, usually teams lose games more than they win them. Would you agree?
Correct. You give it away.
The other team's all happy to win it and take it. And Township didn't beat themselves other than with the penalties. And that's to their credit. But they were all too happy to make things a little bit easier, right? Taking the ball away, scoring. And their tenacity, their ability to find the ball, the senior leadership.
That's taught too. That's a taught thing. I mean, it's a circuit drill. There's putting emphasis on getting the football, and not just tackling the football, but punching out the ball, going to get it, doing the drills. We used to do them. It was a big Monday thing for us. Film day. It was a lighter day. We used to go, hey, we're going to go work a turnover circuit, and really value scoring the ball, getting the ball on defense, and getting that short field for the offense.
Well, and you had some great defenses. So you tell me if I'm right here, what I saw on Friday night with this awesome Township defense. Once the first one comes out.
Oh, it's sharks.
Exactly.
Sharks.
Once the second one comes out.
Everybody wants one.
And we got an epidemic, guys. Everybody wants some chow.
Right.
The blood's in the water.
And then the other team gets a little bit like, I don't want to say it's like they're holding it too tight. Like it's not the smoothness of the game. Now they're thinking too much about it, and you're not. Again, that's taught as well. Ball control, procedural on kick on extra points and PATs and field goals, etc. So the margins, the details. This is what we're talking about. When teams are evenly matched in playoff time. Look, if someone's 3 touchdowns better, it is what it is. But when teams are evenly matched. Look, I'll go to the play before half. How about the catch Iverson Clement makes against us in 2017? That was a grown man play, right? Everybody in the whole, I think everybody knew the whole house knew what was happening. He came out of the backfield, up the hash, came up, caught the ball between 3 guys, and chested it through 4 of our hands. So sometimes a play needs to be made, and then on defense, knowing you can impact the game that way. And to your point, Sharks, they smell the blood. Defense smells the blood.
We're going to take a quick break, and then you know what we're going to do? We're going to preview 3, 4, and 5, and then we're going to get out of here with Game of the Week preview as well. So sit tight, stay tuned to the South Jersey Football Frenzy Show. The West Jersey Football Coaches Association was established to promote, improve, and unite football in South Jersey. In less than 4 years, the association created the Battle at the Beach and has dedicated itself to helping others. The association has donated close to $100,000 to date to provide scholarships through the National Football Foundation and the Touchdown Club of Southern New Jersey. The group has also donated to the charity Philly Faces, which helps those in need of facial reconstruction surgery. Thank you to the West Jersey Football Coaches Association for their sponsorship of the South Jersey Football Frenzy Show. The South Jersey Football Frenzy Show is also sponsored by Capstone Medical Services, a dedicated team of experienced healthcare professionals with a strong presence at the youth, middle school, high school, collegiate, and post-collegiate levels. They specialize in athletic training services and sports medicine for youth, high school, collegiate, and adult sports, event EMT and paramedic coverage for events and gatherings of all types and sizes, ensuring everyone's safety, injury prevention and workplace injury programs for commercial and industrial organizations, American Red Cross training, ideal for coaches, youth group leaders, church organizations, businesses of all sizes, and school districts. At Capstone, they are committed to delivering exceptional medical services that exceed expectations. No team will work harder or more passionately for you or your athletes. They proudly serve athletes of all ages, schools, businesses, and event organizers, ensuring the health and safety of every individual in every setting. Whether on the field, at work, or during special events, Capstone's here to protect, support, and serve because your safety is our top priority. To learn how Capstone Medical Services can support your school, organization, or event, call 855-EVENT-CMS or visit capstonemedicalservices.com. The South Jersey Football Frenzy Show is also sponsored by SRA Home Products. South Jersey, let me tell you about my friends over at SRA Home Products. SRA has been building sunrooms, pergolas, and patio covers for over 25 years. They've built more than 9,000 projects in the Delaware Valley alone. And I've had the opportunity to be around Mike Fody, the owner, and I have nothing but the best things to say about Mike and his crew. SRA is a gold-accredited member of the Better Business Bureau under the elite provider status with Home Advisor, and they've racked up a number of Best of South Jersey awards in the past. They also contribute to multiple sport associations and are huge supporters of Williamstown football. Find them online at srahomeproducts.com.
Enthusiastic about football? Become a part of the NJFOA South Football Association and team up with us to officiate high school football. Join us on the field. Our cadet class kicks off in March. Register on our website or by scanning the QR code in this ad. Put the stripes on and join us on the gridiron today.
Welcome back, New Jersey football fans, to the South Jersey Football Frenzy Show. Let's talk Group 3. Central Jersey Group 3 is where we're going to start here. We got Seneca's the 3 seed. They're 9-2, the Golden Eagles. They're at Homedale, who's 8-2. This is Friday at 7 p.m. Seneca got here by beating Matawan 28-7. They were the 7 seed. They had upset the 2 seed, so they had to head to Seneca, and they lost 28-7. Anthony Tirico, another huge game for him. 21 carries, 230 yards, and 4 touchdowns from the quarterback position. Kingston Williams with 2 sacks on defense. Homedale beat Neptune 65-42 in the track meet of the weekend. I mean, imagine that, Mac. If you had the under, if you had the over, I mean,
It's 107.
Is that what it is? No.
What is it?
Yeah, it's if you
107.
106.5. If you had the under,
You lost.
you lost.
Someone said to you, "I'm going to take the over under 100 points." You're like, no way.
Unbelievable.
65-42. That's tough to do.
James Murphy caught 3 touchdowns.
Was the game 3.5 hours?
It might have been. James Murphy caught 3 touchdowns. Carmine Aliperity caught 2 touchdowns. But let's talk about the quarterback. I fumbled my pen looking at these stats. Jack Cannon, 12 for 14, 256 yards and 6 touchdowns. 12 carries, 175 yards and 3 touchdowns. So Mr. Cannon had 431 yards of offense, 9 touchdowns on basically 12 completions and 12 rushes. Is that correct?
12 completions, 12 rushes, 12 for 14. I don't know if they were playing flag football, but the 7-on-7 it felt like a 7-on-7 deal, going 12 for 14.
Trying to find my pen, Mac.
Trib, look.
I got it, man.
Live
I got it. Don't worry about it.
We're on a live feed. He's got his pen, and it's a bad pen. Like, you're looking for a bad pen.
A bad
right?
penny.
You want a pen? Here's a pen.
Homedale also, offensively, they had 470. Defensively, they gave up 400 to Neptune. Again, a lot of late touchdowns.
Doesn't look like much defense was being played, right? And I know one thing. Coach DiOrio plays defense. Like he gets his guys to play defense, right? I don't see Homedale having 65 points against Seneca.
Well, I don't think so either.
No,
I like what T. Bettle says here, where could be high scoring, true, but quarterbacks, right? Cannon and Tarika. This could be a great quarterback duel. Seneca's on a 5-game win streak. The question really is the 4th time the charm? Seneca, this is their 4th consecutive sectional final appearance. And I'll say the previous 3 teams were pretty darn good, and they ran into very good teams in those finals. And in Camden, Delsea, and Mainland, and I don't remember exactly what the order was. I know Mainland was last year. So could the 4th time be the charm? They'll be on the road against the Hornets at 7 p.m. Friday night.
Go Eagles.
Yeah. South Jersey Group 3. This one could be a great game. I will be there.
And both teams already had great games, right? I mean, they've gone through great games to get to a great game. Saturday at noon. Oh, you're double dipping this weekend.
I am, and I'm going to be down in that Atlantic City area.
Yeah.
Egg Harbor City on Saturday.
You might just get yourself. You might be just getting yourself all for the weekend.
Yeah, let's talk about Mainland, Mac. They beat Burlington Township, the top seed, 15-13 the other night.
Franchini again. Right?
12 of 19, 140 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jake Blum, 5 receptions, 92 yards, and 2 touchdowns. You have a missed field goal late in the final moments for Burlington Township. Burlington Township was down 15-6. They scored late on a 62-yard run from Gerald Sackey. They got the onside kick and got the final attempt with that field goal, but it was no good. So Mainland shows their championship DNA, or their winning DNA, as Mr. Mike McGarry wrote. What do you think about the Mustangs?
Well, we talked about this last show about some teams just being used to being in these games, and Mainland over the last X amount of years have been in these games. I mean, these kids last year, these seniors were juniors and sophomores and freshmen. Maybe not as much talent as past Mainland teams, but, it gets to a point where when you're part of a program that becomes a perennial winner, and then even in the years where you don't have as much talent, you're still getting the 7-win team in a sectional final playing against a very good Cedar Creek team. So I agree with Mr. McGarry. It's the championship DNA. That's real. People, teams are used to winners win, man. Winners win. So can they back it up? Can they back it up and put, when, as we said to our kids, we had a big win in our sectional semis back in 2017 against Howe, and scored 60-some points. Those things don't, I don't want to say they don't mean anything, but nobody remembers your big sectional win, semifinal, if you lose that South Jersey or sectional final game.
So they're back in the sectional final.
Right.
Hopefully we're back on, guys. Show me a thumbs up in the chat if that's the case. Cedar Creek is who they're going to face, and it's on the road.
Just real quick, Mark, if they can hear me, if it's issues with Facebook, it seems like there's some type of issue. You guys can go to the YouTube. It's the same broadcast on YouTube. You can watch it without any issues.
I like what Steve said. He thinks the pen shorted the wires. I think that's true. Basically what we were saying, guys, is that Mainland showed its championship DNA and what it has had in the past. John Franchini, Jake Blum, and company in escaping Burlington Township with that 15-13 win. They're going to head to Cedar Creek. I will be there on Saturday. That game is at noon. Cedar Creek at 9-2. Beat Pleasantville 15-12. Amir Dunbar, 23 carries for 120 yards. Jameer Campfield and Guyan King each caught a touchdown. Cedar Creek trailed in this game 12-8, headed to the fourth when Campfield scored on a 29-yard pass from Frenchman Bethea. The Pirates' defense held the Greyhounds at 219 yards. Jawan McIntosh Ward led the way with 11 tackles, 2 for loss. These teams have not played since 2017, even though they're similar-sized school, close proximity, Mainland and Cedar Creek. It was a 35-0 rout for Cedar Creek in 2017, but that obviously has no bearing at all on this one. Mainland,
and
Cedar Creek, going to be...
That Cedar Creek team was different in 17, too.
Yeah. It's going to be some green, going to be some maroon on one side, and going to be some black on the other side. South Jersey Group 4, Millville at 6-4 heads to top seed of Winslow at 9-2 Saturday at 1 o'clock. Millville rolls Northern Burlington 42-0 last week. Robbie O'Connor had a great game, 18-21, 325, and 4 touchdowns. Reggie Holly, 7 receptions, 140 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He also ran first score. Jaden Days, 6 receptions, 153, 2 touchdowns. Winslow beat Shawnee 47-7. Jalen Parker threw for 290 and 5 touchdowns. Nakeem Powell, 142 yards rushing on just 10 carries and 2 touchdowns. Boomer Helton, 4 receptions, 148 yards and 2 touchdowns. This is a rematch of last year's state semifinal classic, a 13-7 Winslow win. The Eagles rolled Millville on September 27th this season, 49-6. 3 Nakeem Powell rush touchdowns opened the score, and it was 28-6 at half. Millville had just 125 yards. The Eagles have a 3-game win streak in the series. Millville has matured into a much different team throughout the year. The Bolts own a 5-game win streak. They're averaging 39.2 in those 5 games. In a 1-4 start, they only scored 14.6. Mac, you saw Winslow in person on was it Friday or Saturday?
Saturday, day game.
Yeah.
It seems like the Shawnee seasons end every year at the Winslow Stadium.
Right.
Winslow, one of the best public school teams I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
They got it all. They got defense, they got offense, they run the ball. Jalen Parker had a bunch of wow throws. Mm-hmm. You're sitting there. I'm rooting for Shawnee, but respecting what Winslow's doing out there on the field, offense, defensively. As I said, Parker was just lights out. Powell, they come out early, and I got, of course, I thought they threw the ball a lot. Well, not if they're getting chunks, right? 10 carries, 142 yards. They just got guys all over the place. They're big up front, both sides of the ball. Fly to the football on defense. Athletic on the perimeter. They're very kicking game, punting game.
Kicking game was good.
Kicking game was very good. Field goals, extra points, and then the end zone on the kickoffs. So they seem to have it all. But to your point, Millville is not the Millville they were in September. They're on the younger side. It's going to take a Herculean. Can I say that? It's going to take.
I think you can.
It's going to take a huge effort from Millville. Look, Millville's going to show up. Millville's going to play. On paper, Winslow is the better team. But look, what happened? Last year you had a 3 or 4 score game became a 1 score game in the playoffs. So this could be interesting. But Winslow just has so much firepower, so much run, throw, offense, defense. They just got it all, and it's going to be a tough task for the Bolts.
It is. It is going to be tough, Mac, and it's a game where when you look at it, Millville is going to be ready for the game. I mean, the kids are going to be jacked up.
Sure.
They're the underdog, and they're going to go in there, and Winslow is as good as it gets. We know that, but we also know that the game has to be played on turf, and that's where it will be played.
On grass.
Well, turf, relatively speaking, right?
Like you're talking like
grass is turf.
But you're talking like racehorsing turf.
Yeah, exactly.
I understand.
Like the Turf Club. Central Jersey Group 4, this is All Shore Conference. Top-seeded Brick Memorial beats Steiner 40-7. The Mustangs host 3-seed Middletown North 20-14 winners over 2-seed Manalapan.
So they'll get a champion somewhere.
Yeah. They are Shore Conference is guaranteed a champion in Central 4. Central Jersey Group 5, Old Bridge is 10-1. They're at Washington Township 11-0 Friday at 6 p.m. We talked about Township earlier. To talk about Old Bridge, they beat Sayreville 28-27. Brody Nugent threw for 192 and 3 touchdowns. He also carried 22 times for 131 yards and a touchdown. Amari Allsbrook, 5 receptions, 79 yards, 2 touchdowns. Chase Rizzo with a receiving touchdown. Old Bridge, saw them earlier this season. Very good team. They beat Cedar Creek at Battle at the Beach at Rowan. They have had a great season. 10-1, they're the 3 seed, upsetting Sayreville 28-27. So they head to Washington Township. Washington Township looks to get back to that state semifinal where they were last year. I want to give a very, very, very special shout out to senior lineman Stephen Davidson of Washington Township High School. Stephen
makes the best play of the weekend.
Yeah, he makes the best play of the weekend for sure. Stephen was one of our scholar athletes at the Touchdown Club's Scholar Athlete Banquet on Monday. Seated next to fellow honorees, Stephen realized that the player next to him was choking on food and got up and very calmly gave this young man the Heimlich until he was okay before anybody really could even react. That's how calm and cool, collected he was. And afterwards, he kind of sat down, just shrugged his shoulders and said, that's what you do. So major shout out to Stephen for what he did this week.
Kind of gives you some insight what Township has in the locker room, right?
Yeah, and excellent player, obviously excellent student. He was honored by the club.
And just cool as a cucumber.
Cool as a cucumber. All right, we talked about where I'll be Saturday. Let's talk about where I'm going to be Friday night. Our game of the week, South Jersey Group 5 Championship. Kingsway at 9-2, the 3 seed at top-seeded Atlantic City, 9-1. This is Friday at 6 p.m. I can't wait to cover my first game at Atlantic City in my career. Kingsway beat Southern, this 2 seed, 28-7 on the road. David Orvetz, 9 for 19, 104 yards and a rushing touchdown. Cole DeNick, 19 carries, 137 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Mason Bryan with a pick 6 for the Dragons. Atlantic City made sure that there will be a new Group 5 state champion for the first time in state history, as Toms River North had won the first 3. They knock off the Mariners 42-0. Marvin Burrows continues to do what he's been doing. And I can't wait to see Marvin play in person, because looking at his stats each week, I'm pretty much amazed, man. He's having a heck of a season. 15-23, 274 yards and 4 touchdowns. Dante Thompson, 6 receptions, 102 yards and 2 touchdowns. Kanai Austin and Hanif Rios each caught a touchdown. These two teams have not met since 2021. It was a 14-0 win for Kingsway. Nate Mayers, now an assistant for the Dragons, completed 1 pass in that game for 5 yards. Safe to say it'd be a little bit different this time around.
I would think.
On the season, the big stars, Cole DeNick, 948 yards rushing, 21 touchdowns. Burrows on the year, 2,235 passing yards and 26 touchdowns. Mac, what do you think about this one, man?
Well, I think, Atlantic City likes to throw the ball. I just paused, Rod?
Yeah, I'm going to have to restart it. We should be back up. I don't know if it's going in and out, but we should be good.
Go ahead, Mac.
Think I'm good?
Yeah.
Well, Kingsway defense, I just think coaching with Mark Hendricks, watching him coach, knowing his background, the coverages that they'll throw at Atlantic City, it'll be interesting how Burrows adapts to that. I mean, the hardest thing for a Q is to, they typically know pre-snap is it cover 3, cover quarters, cover 2, whatever, man pressure, whatever. And Henny's defense and Henny are so good at, you have no idea what's going on until it's snap of the ball. You can maybe have an idea. Zone pressures, man pressures, just all different games up front. And can Atlantic City's offensive line and protection, keep Burrows clean? And in saying that, on the other side, Kingsway with the Kingsway weapon is Cole Denick, right? I mean, he runs hard, he runs angrily, and at AC, this no reason or no doubt why this is game of the week in South Jersey on Friday night. You got a lot of things stirring in this pot.
A lot of action, Mac.
That's what I mean. Yeah,
it's one of the best weekends of the year. I can't wait to cover this game on Friday night at Atlantic City and this game Saturday at Cedar Creek.
Mainland Cedar Creek, and you got Delran, Haddonfield. I mean, you got Seneca going to take at Homedale. They take care of the sectional, to the South Jersey world. You got a lot of fun, good games, and this is that. Like I said in the beginning of the show, this is when you get the hardware.
Yeah. And then next week we got state semifinals. Then the week after that we got state championships. So we got a lot to do, and we're going to be here Wednesday night at 7 p.m. next week to break down who won these big games and who they got next. I want to give a big shout out, of course, to our guy Rod and his company, D2 Sports Network, the man behind the glass here. Gets it all done from beautiful Studio B. I can't recommend a first-class studio any more than Rod's. He will hook you up. Mac, are you going to get to a game this weekend?
I think so. I'm going to kicking around if I can get out of something on Friday, get down to Atlantic City, possibly. I looked at that. Saturday I was flipping a coin between going down to Egg Harbor or staying local in Atco and go to some Winslow, Millville Winslow. So figuring it out, and I'll be floating around somewhere.
Yeah.
Saw the folks at Winslow. They were great hosts. It was always good to see the guys down there. So
if you're going to a game this weekend, drive safely. Have a great time.
Figure out if you got to get the tickets before. Some places don't take cash. Not everybody has the Trible pass.
Right.
You got to figure out, get there early. Don't wait in line. There's usually 2 lines going on. One for the people that know how to buy the tickets before and figured everything out. And, lovingly, the nitwit line that doesn't figure all that stuff out, and then you're 10 minutes late for the opening kickoff.
Whatever line it takes, please get in.
Get in, buy a hot dog, buy a soda, support the NHS or support the student council, whoever's selling it.
Go to a game.
Go to a game.
You don't have to stream it. Go to a game.
And don't talk bad about the refs.
I don't.
I'm just saying, not you wanting,
Look at the camera. If you're talking to them, look in the camera. If you're talking to me, look at me.
Listen.
I never talk bad about the refs. They know that.
That's true. Go to a game, root on your team. It's a fun time of the year. Rod, where are you going?
I may try to hit that Atlantic City game.
Yeah.
Thompson is really good, number one, receiver. They have some really good players down there at Atlantic City, but I want to see Denick in person.
Yeah. Can they keep Burrow?
Burrows.
Can they keep Burrows off the ground? I mean, he's got it. Can he extend the play? Because Kingsway's going to give you some different looks. They're going to.
So he's kind of like the mold of it's kind of like a Dante Culpepper type quarterback.
I know, but he's going to have bodies around him.
Yeah.
On him.
Yeah, that'd probably go a little quick game.
Okay. Now, saying that, back to our friend Winslow, Jalen Parker doesn't have to wash his uniform from last week. I mean, that cat.
Yeah,
They
just shake it out and put it right back on.
And that's not a shot at Shawnee, who I love. It's his offensive line.
Yeah.
He's
Come
got
on.
the protection.
Come on.
Yeah.
Right?
We'll see if Jalen and company can get back to that state semifinal. Plenty to see, plenty to salute next week on the show. Have a good weekend. Get out and watch some football for the South Jersey Football Frenzy Show. Thanks for watching.
Congrats, signees. Good stuff. Proud of y'all.